Are y'all ready to see one of the coolest products I have ever reviewed on the channel? Well, Ecoflow has done it again with the Ecoflow BLADE. So yes, as y'all just seen, I've been testing Ecoflow's new blade for quite a while behind the scenes. So what is it? It's a robotic lawnmower, believe it or not, for smaller size yards. Now, take a look at this. As you can see, yes, we have a huge piece of property here. This is not designed for something this size. We currently have 50 acres and a lot to mow. So why do I have this? Well, I've partnered up with Ecoflow a while back to test a lot of their new releases, and it's just been fun. I've been enjoying getting products in early before they even release to the public, testing, giving feedback, and then whenever we make content like this, I'm the voice for you, the viewer, to give feedback directly to the company. So this right here is geared toward the individual that just loves tech and that wants something automated to take care of smaller size yards. So the way I look at this right here is, this is basically like those robot vacuums that we see running around our homes making life easier. Well, that's what this is for your yard. So I've been testing it out. We got a lot of footage to show here. We're going to show this off, give some figures and numbers on what I think it's good for. And well, let's just dive right into this thing. This is such a cool product. So here's the Ecoflow BLADE. This is the world's first automatic robotic lawnmower with a sweeping solution. You're going to see a lawn sweeping kit here in just a little bit. No wires are needed. This is all controlled with an app. Makes virtual boundaries. It's non-stop mowing with the Ecoflow X Vision. You just seen on the front side of that unit right there, it can see and detect things. It's a smart robotic device. So check these wheels out. There is no drive linkage or anything needed. They can run forwards, backwards, spin this in 360 degrees with motors that drive the wheels as you see. So take a look at this. These are omnidirectional wheels. They spin multiple directions and again can spin you in a 360 degree fashion as well. The back tires are knobbed, and here's some controls in the back we'll discuss a little later in the video for adding the sweeper kit. So if you look underneath, this is what does the cutting action. Those are a razor blade design, very easily to be replaced, and the design kind of reminds me of other types of tractor mowers that I have used in the past. So those blades will sling out once this gets in motion. Right here you're looking, this is a fully adjustable deck. I'm going to show you in the app here in just a little bit that you can control the mowing height of this. So what I'm doing right here is setting up the charging station. And you're going to want to make sure you have clear line of sight right here, because the charging station, and you're going to see in just a second, an antenna that I'm putting up, well, this all needs to see satellite. This is what's going to control the device and give you that virtual boundary out there to where you don't have to go put anything physical out in the yard other than these devices right here. So there's that antenna I was just telling you about. Again, clear line of sight to the sky. You're going to bring the cable up here, and these are the only two connections that you make into the charging dock itself. One for the wall for power and the one for the antenna. So right here are some provided ground anchors that you'll put in to keep the robot sweeper and mower station from being pushed around whenever that robot comes back on it. So you'll definitely want to put those in. Ecoflow also provides some ground stakes that you can peg your wire down. So for example, I'd recommend installing something like this near a flower bed or an area that's not going to be mowed, and allow the robot to actually come off and on and charge as needed, but you're going to want to keep that out of the way. So you can manually put it on the first time on the charging station, charge it up, and you're going to want to make for sure that you update to the latest firmware. That's very important with a new device like this. Here is my current firmware, which by the time these are available to the public, there should be even more firmware updates than this. So I'm going to go out in the yard right here and stake off an area for demonstration purposes, and you're going to see once you've charged the device up and downloaded the firmware, you're going to go in and set maps or areas to where you want this to go in and mow. So I'm backing it off right now. You can manually control it with your phone from an app that has a little joystick on there, and then you'll start mapping your area that you do want it to mow. So that's what I'm doing right now, going out to build that first mowing map. Here I am driving along those stakes and flags that I put in so we can map that particular area out. Now things like that shed that you're seeing right there, structures where you don't want it to mow, there's also a feature in the app that's called a no-go zone. So you'll go in and actually drive the device around something like that shed right there, and mark it as red or as a no-go or no mow zone. Everything else will remain green to where it knows that it needs to go and mow. Don't forget it's got that technology in the front to where if it senses anything, something new pops up that you didn't have mapped, well, it'll stop and it will not mow over anything like that. It has a safety feature built in. Now here's that app showing the green is everything I'm going to mow, and the red is a couple of areas that I marked off where I do not want this to go mow for the day. And here is another setting in the app. You can adjust cutting height and speeds as well. Right here, this is in slow mode, and I like it as is. It's also worth mentioning this device has anti-theft built in it, so if someone takes it, as well as it's also waterproof. Now you can see right here what I'm doing is I just measured. Where it didn't cut was about 4-inch tall grass. Right there where it did cut, well, that's 1.5 inches to 2 inches. It's cutting perfectly right where I have it set. Back out in the yard again, you're seeing 4-inch grass. This is also a good time to mention this particular device has an industry first 4-year warranty where they're actually providing one-on-one service where you can contact them via phone, and they have a special warranty just for this device right here. They're really trying to back it up. All right, so it just got done mowing this area, and I'm gonna go to my phone real quick and show you, but I think it's only at like 73 or 74% battery. So it did not use much battery at all to mow 3,500 square feet is what the perimeter showed whenever it was finally calculated on the little map right here. And by the way, I looked up the average suburban backyard size for the United States, and it's 6,000 square feet. I'm 3,500 right here and only used 25% of my battery to mow this. So with those figures, this should easily mow a typical backyard in a suburban area. So the good news, it mowed quite well. I can easily see the difference. I think you can pick it up on camera too. And whenever I measured, majority of the grass is around 4 inches tall. After cutting is like 1.5 inches to 2 inches. And I had the machine set at 2. Now this yard is very uneven. I also had that set on slow mode. I'll have to go back and look at my phone. Probably took a little over 30 to 40 minutes to mow this area, so not bad at all. This is very tough grass right here. It's a Tifton 9 Bahia, kind of like a Pensacola Bahia. Tougher than most grass by far, and I find the slow mode is still quite fast on this. Medium and super fast mode, I would only do that in yards with very tender and easy to cut grass. Like if you're trying to run back over it real quick and you just had a recent mowing, it would probably be fine for that. But I see no reason to go any faster than the slow mode on this. Now the bad, I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Occasionally, every so often, I'll see some strips of grass. So what that means is the little GPS on it didn't quite move the machine over far enough to overlap the previous cut. And I'm seeing that in a few different areas here. You kind of got to really look for it, but it is there. So I'm actually going to run the machine a second time, run over this. It's got plenty of battery, why not? And see if it picks up those strips and makes this area look even nicer. All right, the other thing worth noting, I don't know if you can tell, there is a triangle shape right here. I'm actually gonna reach out to the manufacturer about this and see if there's like a firmware update or something they could do. But I put a no-go zone around that structure right there. You've seen that with a red box. And it went and mowed the backside of it. For some reason on this front side, it kept coming around and kind of made a pie shape. Then it skipped over and went that side and finished mowing the rest side of the yard. So there is a pizza pie shape right here that it skipped over. But I'm also gonna wait and see what the manufacturer says. Brand new equipment like this, well, sometimes they just need firmware updates. By the way, whenever you get one of these, update your firmware. That took about 15 minutes for me to do. Brand new equipment's always gonna get little tweaks. That's a good thing. Always stay on top of your firmware. All right, so you want to see something cool? They really have thought of everything. Not only has it done a really good job mowing. Honestly, I'm looking at the mowing behind y'all and I can't tell the difference between that and a regular mower. But if you happen to have a yard where you want, well, a little bit of leaves, debris, pine straw, or just the grass clippings themselves picked up, they thought of a sweeper that goes along behind it. As you can see, this snaps onto the robot itself and it's got a sweeper underneath and a bag collector back here. So let me snap this right on the back. There's some connections back here to accept this. So very simple process. This just goes right down on the back bar of the robot mower. You tighten that nut right there. It screws right into it. Then there's a protective cover right here that you flip down and connect the sweeper. So something interesting to note, I've just did my latest firmware update and I'm controlling the sweeper kit now. It gives you an option for mow, which I have it on, but it doesn't run the sweeper while it's mowing. But then it has an option for sweep. Then it runs that big roller brush. I guess so if you wanted to use it just for sweeping, picking up, well, clippings after you cut them. I would love to see it sweep while it cuts, but that may put too much on the system trying to run, well, the mower motor as well as the sweeper motor itself. But I suppose that's where you could, well, get done mowing and then send it right back out to the same area to work with the sweeper function on. So I'm gonna put some leaves and pine straw and stuff down in its way. Let's see how well it picks this stuff up. All right, you can hear the sweeper really getting after it. We just went through the first little bit of pine straw. We're about to go through some more. Going over leaves and pine straw right now. My dog got in the way and it moved around. Okay, there was a big clump of pine straw right there. It's gone. Now, obviously, that little sweeper kit, I'm not expecting this to just do like major cleanup, but, you know, little leaves and stuff like that in your yard. Let's see if it gets it. Well, it's gone. But where did it go? All right, I'm gonna pause it. Let's take the bag off. Holy smokes. Not only, y'all check this out. Not only did it get all the pine straw and stuff up, it has picked up all the dead grass from where I mowed the yard a week ago. Look at this. And some cut grass where I just mowed a second ago. That's pretty impressive. I wasn't expecting to see that much stuff out of there, being that it only ran for just a few seconds. Now, also with that said, well, if you're gonna run the sweeper, guess what? You're probably gonna have to come dump it quite often as well. It's gonna fill up. By the way, it lets you know that. So check all that out. That is a huge mound of cut grass and everything for no longer than that just ran. That's pretty awesome. All right, another feature I want to test. We've got it programmed with no-go zones, but what happens if, well, somebody were to walk in front of this, or a pet, or something get kicked out, like say a ball? Well, as you can see, it has eyes and sensors on the front. It stops, it senses, hey, something's in front of me, just don't run over it. And it simply works its way around the object, keeps right on going. That's a pretty cool feature and something that you definitely need for safety. It's also worth mentioning that Ecoflow is going to offer a early bird special on some of the first units that are purchased of this. They're giving a pretty significant discount, as well as I'll have a discount code down in the description. So FYI for that. I did not get paid to make this review. However, if you do use my link down in the description, it doesn't cost you a dime extra. You get a discount code for some more money off, and I do get a small commission and kickback. So if you want to continue to support our channel and allow us to keep doing what we're doing, I'd greatly appreciate it if you use the links down there, and you might as well get you some money off in the process. All right, so now that we have a decent little bit of mowing underneath our belt, let's take a look at the blades and kind of the overall underneath side of this. All right, so let's get this flipped up and take a peek at those blades. Hopefully we focus in. You can see we got a lot of grass built up, which is going to be perfectly normal, especially cutting, well, a moist and wet top grass. Everything else underneath looks okay. Nothing chipped, no damage, no issues. So as expected, the blades are no longer, well, razor sharp, and that's just going to happen. They're going to dull relatively quickly. You've seen I ran through some ant beds, some sand. I even ran over a few small sticks and some other stuff, so that's just the way it's going to be. Now, your results are going to vary. What type of grass are you cutting? How often are you cutting it? Those are all going to determine how long your blades last. But as far as changing the blades out, it's very simple. You've seen they just have one little Allen head screw. It comes with an Allen wrench to change those out. You take it out, you pop a new blade on, you put it back in. It couldn't be any easier. And again, it does come with blades. Obviously, there's going to be more made available, and these should be relatively inexpensive for no more than what they are. All right, so let's wrap this test up. I've actually been running this a lot off camera over the last few weeks, and this video is being made long before this product's released to the market and to you. By the way, I spent some time the last few days working with Ecoflow. This is the part that I like about doing this kind of stuff and testing things before it's released to the general public. And as far as that little triangle strip that was left around the no-go zones, we discussed that. They're already working on it. The next firmware update, they said that's going to be eliminated to where it will mow that section. Well, guess what? That firmware update is going to be released before, well, this video is released and before this product's made available to the general public. So again, people may be saying, hey, why do you have a product like this that doesn't fit your yard? It's because I love being on the front line of things like this. I've been testing this long before it was made available to you. I've had the opportunity to work with the company to help them provide firmware updates, provide feedback. So whenever this is ready to go to the public, like it will be here before long, you get a product that's been tested, been field tested. There's been good feedback from us because we know exactly what you're thinking. You're our viewers, and we're going to have this thing set up and ready to go for you by the time it's ready to release. So is this replacing my zero-turning tractor for our 50 acres? Absolutely not. But this may be the perfect solution for you to mow your small yard. Not a lot of people enjoy mowing. I happen to be a rare one, and I do enjoy it. Some people would rather this run outside while they go run errands or while they watch that football game, and this can be taking care of your yard. It's a really cool idea and thought process here. I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback on it if this may be something that fits your lifestyle in your yard. Thanks again, Ecoflow, for sending this out. I've had a blast testing this over the last month, and if y'all get one, let me know. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on it. We'll catch you on the next video. I'm excited to see what Ecoflow is going to bring out next, because here lately they have had some pretty cool products come out.